2, 1, live.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily High. This is a brand new YouTube show on the Financial Summit Network. The network of the Financial Summit is going to get built out in the future. It's going to be a really great, fantastic new product. So it's going to be many different shows coming on. This is just one of them. I hope you like it. It's a show with Tone Vays and Matt McGregor. Oh, well,
Awesome.
the
Hey
sound
guys.
works. One
Yeah,
second, mate.
I think we're all set. I just got to put on my microphone, man. And you guys, my audience knows how bad I am with the tech. And the
Whew.
first thing the Financial Summit Network is going to do is hire a proper producer. But so far so good. How's the audio? How's the video? What I usually say on my shows. I'm going to hand it back off to Matt. Good friend of mine, attended several financial summits. I think you've been watching my show before that, but I'll let you say the story.
Yeah, great. So I thought I'd just give a quick overview of how I met Tone. I've been watching Tone since around Christmas 2017. All of my friends and I got into Bitcoin. I've been a trader for a decade, but I got into Bitcoin. I heard about Bitcoin around that time in December of 17. And all of my friends were watching these terrible YouTubers. And I got very, very lucky, more than good, that I found Tone Vays, who was very, very bearish on the price when we were at $20,000. And I'll never forget it because Tone saved me so much money at that point. And I've been forever grateful to Tone that I was watching him every day. I didn't buy any Bitcoin. I didn't do anything. I just waited and waited. And in that about 6 month period where we went from 20,000 down to 3,000, I learned technical analysis from Tone. And then, of course, I learned from Tyler Jenks, who was a big part of it, and Socrates and the whole Tone Vays network. I really absorbed it and built my own indicators, which is alpha numerics, which we'll talk about a lot on these shows. And I ended up buying Bitcoin at 3,100. Bitcoin I still hold to this day. In fact, I've never really had to buy any more Bitcoin ever again because through leverage trading, I've been able to grow my balance to a substantial amount without ever having to buy any more from that initial time I met Tone Vays and from learning to trade. So, Tone, I'm forever grateful to you, mate, and this kindness that you've shown me throughout these years.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I need to double check the live stream.
Go
Something.
ahead. I think it's working. We've got some comments here that it's good morning,
It's
Matt.
working,
Thanks,
but
man.
I'm looking at it on two different browsers and they're both frozen. It could be a problem on my end though.
Yeah, I think that's your end. I look pretty good on my end as far as I
Okay.
can.
All right. It's good. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, one of the problems of still living in Panama.
Oh,
All
mate,
right.
I'm here in Australia. It's not much better, but
Yeah.
let's push on. So this
I'll
show's
let
going
you
to be
jump
really,
into the I'll let you jump into the screen share and
yep.
let you run the show here.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. So this show's going to be a bit different than Tone's normal show. It's just going to be a charting show. We're gonna go through Bitcoin in every single episode, and if we have time or we feel inclined, we'll run through some shit coins too. I'm not a big shitcoiner at all. So I'm very much from the school of Tone Vays, but I do believe that there's charting and there's trades to be made when there's trades to be made. And I've called some fantastic bottoms on publicly on a lot of these shit coins, and I'm happy to share that with you through Alpha Numerics and through the show. So we're going to start every show in a really funny way. I've got this crazy idea. We're going to do a live trading show, which is just mock, but it's for bragging rights. Okay, so I'll run through the rules on this trading show that we'll be doing in every episode. So I'll just pull this up on my second monitor here. Bear with me. All right, here we go. So the rules of the trading show, okay, it's called the Daily High Trading Competition. Every trade will be entered at the start of the show. And then it will be closed at the end of the show. Both traders have $1,000 to trade, and they'll be using the float indicator which I built. The amount of leverage is completely up to the user. They can choose any amount of leverage they want. The winner of the trade will be based on the P&L at the end of the episode. The winner, I've got a scoreboard over here, which is really high tech. It's a chalkboard. The winner of the episode will move up a rung and the loser will move down one. You can't go lower than 0. and it's the first one to get to 10 will win the series. So the decided will be at the P&L of every episode. The prize is a really interesting prize. The prize for the winner, who get the first one to get to 10 and who wins the series, the loser will have to publicly go on Twitter and Instagram and say that Matt or Tone won the season 1 of the trading competition publicly. And that's a bragging rights that it's better than any kind of monetary reward. If I could beat Tone, that would mean a lot to me. And then after the season's finished, it just resets back to 0 and we go again with season 2 with the previous winner being announced. That's the
And I got a big challenge ahead of me because Matt won the trading competition at the last financial summit, making 30% profit in 6 hours. That was insane.
Yep.
The thing is, you
highlight.
barely won. You won by 0.5%.
That's true, but I made it doesn't matter about the results. I mean, I won. Let's just leave it at that. And actually, a great friend of mine actually came second, and I hope he's watching the show today. I won't dox him, but he was brilliant, and he made about 19 trades in the 8-hour trading competition.
6 hours.
I made one. I entered the trade 20x long at the second the trade started, and the 8 hours.
And you held that trade, and he made 19 trades. He paid like ridiculous commissions, and he still got that high. That was super impressive, actually.
Yeah, super impressive, but he lost. So let's just leave it at that.
He made 19 trades, and like I think 18 out of 19 were profitable.
Yeah, he's a fantastic trader and a great guy too.
So he was going long and short.
Yeah, I just went balls to the wall and won. And it's funny because Tony and I aren't like we open the trade at the start of the show and close it at the end. This is not how I trade. So it's funny that we're going to be doing it. So let's rock on, eh?
Let's do it. Go with the chair, show them how float works, and then I will do the same right after you at the same starting price. So
fantastic, mate. Fantastic. All right. So my screen share should be active now. I'm just going to close this little dashboard. All right. So I will turn off your MRI indicator just for the sake of this. So the float indicator I built, it's just a leverage calculator. It's a very simple, it's for sale on alphanumerics.com. If you go into the link below, you can see get 20% off. But this is a great way that I manage all of my trades with. So our initial capital is $1,000. We're both going to start with 1,000. We both have to enter the trade at the market price, which it currently is. We have to be the same amount, okay? We can choose any amount of leverage. We can go long or short, and then we can choose if we want to stop losses and take profits, but stop losses are for babies. And so then we can just hit enter and the trade is on. So the current price is 45,261. So I'm going to go 45,261 and Tone will do the same price, $1,000, 10x long buy. So you can see this blue line right here. That's where I entered the trade. That is where my liquidation would be. And this is, I'm in this trade for the remainder of this show. I'm going to hand over screen share now to you, Tone, and you can do the same.
Right. So I am literally going to do the same. I am also going long, and I will explain why I'm going long. I will go ahead and throw a stop loss in there, but I am going to go with more leverage. So
take out the minus. Take out the minus.
Oh yeah, it's got to be plus. Sorry. I am going to go and I'm also going to go with profit. I'm just learning. I'm using the system for the first time. I'm going to set my profit to. So I'm just going to take my profit at 2%. I'm going to set my stop loss at 1%. And this is a leveraged profit, right? So it's a 1% move on Bitcoin. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to go leverage 15 instead of 10. And I'm going to go buy. Then I will explain why I am going with buy. So the reason why I am going with the buy is this is the 15-minute chart. On this 15-minute chart, because it's a short-term trade, we are bouncing right off this MRI, this MRI buy opportunity, which is absolutely perfect. I'm really liking this resistance level being broken on the verge of breaking the MRI resistance. And right after I entered the trade, I noticed this HHHH down here, which actually tells me that on a 1 hour chart, we are also hitting an MRI buy once the MRI loads. So this gives me even more confidence in the bullish trade. And therefore, on this 5-minute chart right here, off the MRI buy, multiple green star candles breaking the prior swing high. Yes, we are about to hit an MRI sell on the 1-minute chart, but the chart pattern of breaking out off this double top makes me very, very bullish in the short term. And since I am on this chart already, from my show last night we were also looking at the 5-minute chart. I was very surprised the price of Bitcoin rallied this high off the MRI buy. I was bullish off the MRI buy, but not this bullish. And you can see that the 5-minute MRI top was right here off this candle. I believe this top has not even been broken yet. We are still below it. And I was bearish last night when I got off the stream. I was anticipating for us to make a new low. We certainly made a new low. However, this could be the low here to stay until the SEC speaks. We hope they speak today, but we're probably going to talk about, Matt, what you think about what happened last night. You're in Australia. It all went down while you were asleep, but it was crazy over here. You can see how this 5-minute MRI has been very, very good. Right here is another MRI buy opportunity on a 5-minute chart with multiple extensions. Matt also has great expertise in trading MRI, and right now I am bullish with a 1% stop loss. So the 1% stop loss off of here.
Don't, just before you go any further, just go. Can you go into the float settings? You've made a mistake there, just for 1 second. It was the first time Tone's used it, so
it's the first time using it. What did I mess up?
Yeah. So see the price. You've entered the price as 4,000. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, 44. My bad.
Yeah, and just hit enter, and then you'll see that all the charts load again.
Okay, so everything will just adjust to what it was supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
One of these days you're gonna go long and I'm gonna go short, and that's gonna be the real thing. But we should probably alternate. You know, next time I'm the first one to say what my trade is, and then you're using that information to immediately say your trade. Or,
what are you suggest? Are you suggesting that you were influenced by my decision there, Tom?
Well, leverage, yes, right. When I heard you say 10x leverage, I'm like, okay, if I'm doing the same trade, I got to alter my leverage here. Otherwise, no, there's not going to be a winner, right? So that's also why I put in. So next time we're going to have our settings set beforehand. So before you say yours, mine is already filled out.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that. That's awesome. You can go ahead and click that little eye on the float and turn off your thing, and we can just review it at the end of the show. You don't need to leave that on there. Yep.
Oh, okay, like that.
Yeah, you click that off, and we can at the end we can have a look. Yep.
Awesome. All right. So, do you want to do your analysis, or should I do mine?
Yeah, please keep going. Please, I love this. I'm a big fan.
All right. Okay, so on a weekly scale, we are on a second consecutive MRI top. I've been saying for a while, for weeks now, that I was looking at a top at approximately 48,000. And this week, or potentially early next week, the MRI is more of a time element to my trading, and something like the Fibonacci is more of a resistance element to my trading. So I had a price and I had a time, and both price and time came together as perfectly as they could have. I am now looking at this pullback. We are now working on a reversal candle. Today is Wednesday, still half a week to go. Anything can happen. But if we close this candle at a lower price than you see now, even by a few $100s, that is a very bearish sign going into next candle, and will even create a red spike on tone-based volume, which is not released publicly yet, but maybe Matt will, help verify this pine code so I don't embarrass myself when it becomes public information in the public domain. So I am looking for a pullback off of this price. This is the allocation chart. The allocation chart technically should remain 100% long. However, I did not like the environment. I exited 75% of my GBTC position. I'm actually curious where GBTC is today. GBTC should be trading today, and whoa, GBTC, this is the day. Let me go to the daily scale. GBTC did spike a little bit today on the daily, and now we're back down. I exited 75% of my position in GBTC. I don't plan to put that back into GBTC. I plan to use that capital to, I still think Bitcoin is the best asset this year to be timing, but GBTC may not be the best picker to time it with. There are other ways to get exposure to Bitcoin, and I will be exploring those ways. However, on the allocation chart, I would be more than 75% long in Bitcoin. It's just not in the form of GBTC, which I've been using for now. The daily chart. The daily chart is simply pulling back to the levels of consolidation where it broke out, and nothing really concerning here. The 50-period moving average keeps rising, and we are way above the 128-day moving average. In fact, this 200-day moving average is not very useful, so we can change that to a 20-period moving average, and that becomes more useful. And the 20-period moving average is right at the top of this range, which is another reason why, you know, after this week's pullback, we may start rallying again from the $44,000 area. I do not rule that out, and if I see that happening, I have no problem going back into the market with the 75% in cash that I currently have in my retirement account personally. Short-term chart. Oh, here we are on a 5-minute scale. We're both in long trades. We were breaking out nicely. The MRI warning candle is here. I still like the hourly MRI buy. So I am still bullish right here this morning. I'll let Matt do his charts, but I will briefly comment that the more I think about what happened with the SEC tweet yesterday, the more it's likely they were ready to approve the ETF, and some intern accidentally tweeted it instead of putting it in draft or, you know, showing some superior the tweet they were going to put out today, and they accidentally put it out. It caused mad havoc. It made the SEC look incompetent once again, and it can actually delay the Bitcoin ETF official news, which likely would have been the approval of the ETF, which can still happen later today. I'm sure our live chat will go nuts if the news breaks. And on that note, I can stop screen share, give it off to Matt, and let Matt run the show here. And Matt, let me know if you do want to cover other markets today, whether it's, you know, a couple of altcoins that you might be watching or traditional markets that I generally watch.
Yeah, Tone, thanks. Thank you, mate. I'm just looking at this for the first time in a few hours. Man, setting up this new show with Tone has been an absolute joy, but at the same time, like, this has been a lot of work in the back end, and I've neglected to look at the charts. So I'm not going to be able to go through it as quick as you. I'm looking at the 4-hour now. So on alpha numerics, we always want to buy when, like, we're looking for a few things. I'll start broader and I'll shrink in as we go. So first of all, I'll always start on the weekly, okay? As this loads, auto scale. We got the buy signal here, and I'll turn yours off just for 1 second, mate. So the buy signal came in here. This was just before, a few months before Bali, in not last year, the year prior to that. And so at the Bali Financial Summit was around this time in November or something like that. Somewhere around here was the Bali Financial Summit, and I was 100% long off this weekly green diamond. When we came down and got down to 16, I added more to the position. So I'm in multiple trades. That trade I'm still into this day.
Well, Matt,
Okay.
I already have a question, right? When you added more to the position at 16,000, I don't see, you know, an indication to do that. Why?
Yeah, because for me, the weekly green diamond is suggesting this is from now, of all the time you could have bought prior to that, from all the way down that we came, I wasn't interested at all in Bitcoin. I was out of the position and I was short throughout this whole period. I was short from up here I got out of the position here and went long. I closed the position about break even, was short again, and closed the short and went long at this position right here at 17,200. Below the green diamond is as good as on the green diamond. Below the green diamond is even better. Do you know what I mean? We were anticipating a second green diamond. It never occurred, but below the green diamond is still significant for me to say that's enough. My criteria is met.
And these are non-leveraged positions.
These are non-leveraged. Well, in theory, I mean, I was leveraged long as well, to be honest, and I'm still in those trades as well. But I mean, like to the untrained person, yeah, it's a spot position, right? And the leveraged positions I cleared out of here, okay, and then I got back into them here, okay. So I've been leveraged long from 27,200. I've been leveraged long, and then everything long, absolutely max long. So for me, right now, looking at the chart, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to worry about.
What about the red diamond?
Yeah, the red diamond, it could be a good trim. You could trim 5-10% off the position. Why not? That's a technically oversold position, but we can be oversold forever. It is until it changes. I suggest, like, if for day traders and swing traders, it's absolutely a time that you could pull profits, but not necessarily as well. It's totally dealer's choice.
So when would you get out of the position? When would you see a trend change?
I don't know if you can see this, but you can see how on the Alpha Numerics indicator, you can go into settings and go plot lucid SAR. It goes back to
but
Tyler
that
Jones.
SAR
Plot
was
lucid
broken
SAR.
many times last year. That didn't exit you out of the position?
It definitely exited me out of the leverage positions, because at this point, when we come down and we break the lucid SAR, it's a modified lucid SAR, but when we break the lucid SAR, I'm no longer confident. When the wave is green, I'm completely confident that we're in a bullish trend. When the wave turns red, my bias is no longer bullish. But for spot positions, I wholeheartedly believe that 17,200 and then was a great buy. The same way it was a great buy back at 3,100 when I bought here and stayed in those positions. I have many different trading accounts, and in time, I'll explain that more. But just for the fundamental purposes right now, the wave is green, and I'm max long, 100% long across the board, with no reason to fear or to freak out. If we were to come down in time, and every single week, remember, these are readjusting. It's a trailing stop loss.
Yep.
When we come down and break this, and this week right now, it's at about 3,900. If we come down below that, I'll have to close out of my leveraged long positions that were opened at 27,200. But until that day, I've got no reason to fret or to worry. This is
okay. So your current position was entered back at the end of October when the lucid SAR was broken.
Yeah, actually, I even, do you remember this day? It was a really funny thing. We spiked up, and if you go back to the daily, I'll even
I remember
show
it very well. I was saying that everything's reversed in October. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Remember when that fake tweet came out? In fact, when the fake tweet came out that the ETF had been approved, we went crazy and spiked up and then drew back. So
I was waiting for a pullback on that, so I got in a little later than you.
Yes, I actually entered. Yeah, I guess it was around here. I'll have to go check it, but I ended up getting in around 27,200, around that mark there. And the bot, my bot, which we'll talk about later as well, that executed the trade, I think around 28,500, something like that. I think it was on this day that it entered the trade long, and we're still 100% long in that trade too. So you can see these until we reach 28, say 700. I've got no reason to fear. We're above every moving average on the daily time frame. It's nothing to me, this little pullback. When you go, and then so when I shrink down the time frames on the 4-hour time frame, if I wasn't in the trade, I'm looking to enter inside the green wave. I want to pull back. This is how I trade. I can see where my bias is going to change with these lucid SARs. So when we pull back in, okay, to the green wave, the distance between my entry price, let's just say it was here, to my stop loss would be 15%. That's where my bias would change. So I want to get this as close as possible. Every week it rises. So if we drop back down in here, and especially if we get a green diamond inside the green wave, which happens regularly in every bull run, that for me is a great risk reward trade. So there's no trade technically on the table now that I would enter because I'm already fully entered. But I'm watching. If we pull back in here, all of it is still completely by the dip zone. It's by the dip, by the dip, by the dip. When the wave is green, when we pull back, it's all by the dip. But when that wave finally turns red, you're no longer in that by the dip mentality. Your bias has changed bearish. You're in a wait and see pattern. So you either raise cash or you're short at that period. But right now, any pullback now while the wave remains green is a buy the dip in my books. I'd love us to crash right down and get near the lucid star and not close. Let's say we drop down and spike down and we get down to 39,900 or 800. The gap between where I'm no longer bullish and still 100% bullish is so short that I can 10x, 20x leverage because I know I can define where my stop loss is. That's the way I would trade this market right now. Any comments on that, mate?
No.
Finally, we'll just look at the 3-day chart. I hate this bloody bullshit. Yours was the same on the 4-day chart.
It's a trading view bug, man. They're not good. Like the Bitcoin should have no gaps. My 4-day chart always does this. They always like once the candle ends, they adjust it properly, but during the candle, it's messed up.
I've noticed that it only happens. Tony and I both use the index chart for Bitcoin. And when you go to a specific exchange like Binance or 2Bit or BitGet or whatever like that, their charts don't have the same issue. It's just on the index chart, I've noticed.
Right.
But
you can also use the BLX index. Unfortunately, with the BLX index, you can't use small time frames, and they don't adjust in like it's adjusts on a delay, and you can't use small time frames. That's the problem. But it's great for longer time frames.
Yeah, so it's just something we have to deal with. You made a fantastic point about, and it's something I've been very, very mindful of. Overall, I've been waiting for 48. 48 has been a target of mine for a long time, even though I don't technically set targets. It's just a mental target that I have. The fact that we got so close to 48 on the weekly 9 is the only thing that really kind of bugs me a bit about the price, because I think that you've called it really, really well. But as you can see on the 3-day chart, once again, 0, 0, 0 to worry about. We can come back down and test the 30, SMA, and it means nothing to me until we come down and crack through and get a red wave, and then it's a totally different story to me. But you called it perfectly, mate. That weekly, this is the concern. So, like as Fibbo 20 would say, we're in liminal space right now because it's a weekly 9. So, with this news coming up and hitting like the Fibonacci's near 48 and stuff like that, it's a place for concern. Would you take on a long position right now? I don't think so. You'd have to wait for next week or the week after. But
I would wait for the week after. I would not go long this week. I would not go long next week if you are using weekly charts, right? If you are using weekly candles. If you're a day trader, it's completely different. So this is why I try to do analysis on weekly, on daily, and even like occasionally hourly, because you may not care about the weekly chart as your number one priority, in which case, yeah, you can certainly enter this week or next week. But if you are more of a long-term risk-averse trader, the weekly chart is the most important.
I completely agree. And even the price action is so important, because let's say right now, where the price is sitting right now, you wouldn't be looking at entering a trade. It's a liminal space. It's no man's land. But if we start going back up and start getting near the high again, well, the story changes once again, and completely, you can definitely, completely.
It will definitely change. And right now we're looking at a weekly reversal candle. But if we go back to the top later this week, it's no longer a reversal candle. It's a very bullish candle. And now you got to read the fact that the MRI is telling you it's a top, but the candle, it's telling you that next week is still bullish.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to whip a dead horse here, but I mean, if we go up and close back above that 46, 47 zone, That's a fantastic, fantastic weekly close. And
Yes.
I wouldn't be bearish whatsoever. And I'm not bearish whatsoever, just to be clear. There's no reason to be bearish. And this ETF news is a spanner in the works of all technical analysis. So as all traders should be on eggshells here, because I messaged to Fibbo Swanee. I've mentioned his name twice now in a row. I replied to one of his tweets on Twitter. I think he's one of the best analysts out there. And if you're not following him,
Oh, we
please
should
do.
have him on the show. We should have him join the new network.
I think he's fantastic. I think he's fantastic. But but I messaged to him like it's very uncomfortable the situation is right now because my personal net worth, my entire family's net worth could go up by plus or minus 20% out of my control, unchartable, based on an ETF announcement. And this is something that a part of me is just like, just fucking get, sorry for swearing, just, I'm Aussie, just get out of all trades and just wait this thing out and see where the dust settles.
That's exactly what I did out of GBTC last night.
But I can't do it, Tone, because the gambler in me, the trader in me wants the action, man. I think I want to be in it. You know, I live for it. Anyway, that's all I had to say about Bitcoin. That's all you had to say. It's short and sharp. We could probably do one of these shows every day. It's a piece of cake. But would you like me to run through any shit coins? I don't really feel like it, but it's up to you, man.
Are there any on your radar? Are you in any of those positions? I'm happy to throw my thoughts on the analysis of any of the other assets. Also, I don't know how you are with traditional markets. I usually cover them. I might do more of a traditional market show on my channel and send everyone to this channel for crypto analysis for now. So I'll leave it up to you to decide on an asset, and I'm happy to give my thoughts. You can do the screen share. I can do the screen share. It doesn't matter.
All right, mate. Well, look, I'm definitely more into the traditional markets than I am crypto, but I mean, I'm straight from the Tone Vays school of believing in crypto, but it's slightly different because I feel like, although I don't believe in one of the projects, and I'll make that very clear, I like to trade, a moving market. But like, if we just go through a few, some of them look way, way, way better than other ones do. I mean, if you look at something, I don't know what these projects are, so I'm just going to say INJ, right? I don't know what INJ is, but to get rid of the MRI for a second, I mean, calling these bottoms on this INJ and all of these shit coins, I publicly called on another YouTube channel the bottom on most of these because I'm a one-trick pony. I've got the same trading methodology for everything I do. But I mean, this is an incredible trade, and the chart looks sensational. So, like, regardless of what the asset is, if you didn't know that, if I said this was Nike, you'd say, wow, great. We're having a pullback, but great, right? I mean, in all honesty, that's what you'd say. So I'd look at this chart and go, okay, well, on the 4-hour time frame, where can I get in to this asset? And then once she loads, I would say when we get back inside the green wave, and hopefully we'd get a green diamond inside the green wave. That would be my re-entry if I wanted access to this asset, because I know where my bias changes down here at 26. So if we scooted back in here, grabbed a green diamond, and then we could bounce out of it very quickly for a quick, short, sharp trade, just like this trade here on Solana. It's a perfect example where the wave is green, so my bias is bullish. We shot back into the green wave, grabbed a green diamond, and bounced out. Now, you could already be out of that trade for a quick flip. That could be a simple textbook scalp trade on any of these altcoins. But a lot of them don't look like this. A lot of them do. They still have the green wave. But let's just go find one that doesn't. Okay, this is fading fast, but it's still there. This is Cardano. We've still got a way to go on this. It's not fitting the pattern that I like. We've got the green diamonds inside the green wave. It's not bouncing. It's still in the buy zone, but I don't know. There's a pretty long distance between where the entry is and where the stop loss is. It's a bit too far. I wouldn't chance it. But if we keep going through, I don't know what these are. See, that's got a long way to go. Let's find one. See how the waves turn red here? This is why I like it. This is perfect. These were in the buy zone, okay? Then the wave turns red. I would clear out of these trades. I would take the hit on this because the waves turned red. Some of the ones See, another, this is ICP, green diamond, worth a punt, even though it wasn't inside the green wave. Just tradable. But the ones that have already turned red, the wave's already turned red, my bias has changed. I am not interested. These green diamonds are to be ignored. The wave is red. They're not tradable. This is XRP. XRP is not tradable in my alphanumetrics eyes. What do you think, Tone?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like how your watch list is called shitcoins, just like mine. That's pretty funny. And yeah, I agree with all of with all your views on it. People are really asking for the Ethereum chart. And then we should probably talk about why you are always looking at these charts versus the US dollar, and I always look at these charts versus Bitcoin, which could be a nice discussion to close out the show.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I'll just reference this really quickly. Like BNB, this is my buy on BNB. This is where I'd be interested. The distance between where my bias changes is near. I would take that if I wanted this bullshit, and if I was ready to, if I wanted Binance Coin, if I was absolutely had my mind made up on Binance Coin, this is where I would trade it as a scalper, swing trader, or whatever, and I probably would have cleared out here. Okay, where the moving averages no longer look bullish, and be looking to repeat that same trade again down here when it gets back inside the wave. Let's go to Ethereum.
Surprised you don't have it on your list?
The shit coins doesn't include Ethereum, even though
that's the difference.
All right. So you same jazz. We came inside the green wave and we've gone out of it. I think it looks good. I think it looks good. I mean, it's a bit overcooked, if anything. I'll have to go to the weekly time frame to see what it looks like in perspective. But yeah, we had the buy signal here on back in the day. The wave's green. We're above all the moving averages. It looks better than Bitcoin right now, Tone. Like just looking at that. Let's have a look. I'd have to give you the screen share and you could please, you're welcome to do your analysis on it. We're starting at green one. We've had the 1 to 4 correction of the 9, which you called perfectly here. Bang, 1 to 4, we're off. But not this week. It would be a next week trade for Tone, without speaking for you. Please, screen share. Tell me what you think.
All right, let me do screen share.
I apologize. There's a lot of assumed knowledge with all of my stuff, but we'll be doing a show 3 or 4 times a week. You'll get my jive.
And by the way, those interested in alphanumetrics indicator for their TradingView account, like I have it right here, there is a link in the description. It gives you like a 20% discount, and they'll take you to alphanumetrics website. Go ahead and pick up the indicator, and then in future shows, we will discuss and explain other products that alphanumetrics offers, and hopefully new products that the Financial Summit will offer to help everybody trade, including an incredible free trading education. So I, of course, look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and there was an excellent MRI buy opportunity right here. I wouldn't say it was too excellent. We were making lower lows as that MRI buy came in. But off this MRI buy, you certainly should consider removing your short trades on Ethereum. And since then, the Ethereum Bitcoin pair on the daily chart has been rallying like crazy, especially off the ETF news yesterday, because if Bitcoin does not get its ETF, Ethereum benefits a little bit, right? Because I'm not really sure why everyone exited their Ethereum trades, but it looks like they did. If I go to the Ethereum versus the dollar market, on this chart, it does look very, very bullish. It breaks out of 3 times this area has been rejected it. The first time off an MRI top, the second time off an extension C, the third time was actually a bullish green star candle that turned into a reversal candle, pulls back to the moving average, another green star, and now today looks like the price will be here to stay. I'm not well, but then again, if the Bitcoin ETF gets approved later, who knows what Ethereum is going to do? But so far, with about 8 hours to go in a trading day, with 1/3 of the day still left, this candle is looking very, very bullish on Ethereum versus the dollar. Now, I personally understand why people look at the Ethereum versus the dollar chart instead of the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart, because most trading volume takes place on the Tether pair, which is the US dollar pair with the altcoins, with the shitcoins. Now, the reason why the Bitcoin pairing matters more to me is because when a person trades altcoins, whether it's Ethereum or any of the horrendous shitcoins, the person is Bitcoin aware. And when you are Bitcoin aware, you need to measure your success against where your money would be stored otherwise. So if you are a trader of the stock market, you always need to measure your success not against the inflation of the dollar. You need to measure your success versus what you would have achieved if you just left your money in the index, like the S&P 500. So if you start trading Apple stock and Tesla stock, at the end of the year, you got to see if you made more. Obviously, if you're not making more dollars and you spend an entire year trading and you lost 10% of your dollars, you may want to consider a new career. But if you made 10%, but the S&P made 15%, you could have saved so much time in your life by just holding the S&P. So even though you made money, you still got to consider how you would have performed against a benchmark. And for the traditional traders, that benchmark should be the NASDAQ or the S&P or the Dow or the Russell, some kind of an average stock portfolio. However, for the altcoin trader, that benchmark needs to be Bitcoin itself. Like, did you outperform the holding of Bitcoin? And that is why I always look at altcoins through the lens of the Bitcoin pair, even though on the exchange, that is not the most liquid pair. But just because they're not the most liquid pair for trading, the both of them independently are liquid. So I'm just comparing Bitcoin versus Ethereum, even though when it comes to trading, it's liquid enough for you not to have too much slippage between your bid and the ask. So that's my reasoning for always looking at alts through the lens of Bitcoin. And when we're looking through the lens of Bitcoin, on a weekly chart of Ethereum, it still looks pretty disastrous. It's broken the prior swing lows, and it could not even make it back to its downward sloping trend line. And I think this is just a dead cat bounce, and Ethereum is still in trouble. Your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, every fund manager will reference the S&P 500 or the Vanguard or something to measure their success in their account. Okay, but I disagree, and that's fine, because like if I'm trading these shit coins, I'm using massive leverage but it's just a small amount of money. I've got all of my money in Bitcoin, but I'll trade if I see a setup here on Ethereum or any of these other junk coins. I might put $1,000 50x. Do you know what I mean? Like I guess against Tether. So I want to see in real time what I'm looking at here. I'm not comparing it to my entire portfolio. I'm not comparing it to anything. All my holdings is in Bitcoin. This is just fun money when I see a simple scalp on the table. So I need to see the chart that's relevant to what I'm doing. So that's why I would never coin margin trade my Bitcoin in a 50x position on a shitcoin. I don't want it, you know. But I would use Tether, and I would definitely lever long. Why not?
All right. I think we should probably wrap up. I mean, the first show, we got almost 200 live viewers. I think that's excellent for the
Fantastic.
first show.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Plug the in-person financial summit. But those of you that are on this YouTube channel will already know that exists. This is going to remain my project of just hosting a bunch of people in person, while the financial summit Media arm will be managed by others, so Tone will not be responsible for the technology in the near future, and I can just show up as a guest on shows like this, hosted by Matt, or basically the agenda provided by Matt. I'll still be streaming on my YouTube channel for now, and hopefully I slowly move all my content here. You want to, maybe next show, we'll talk about some of the traditional markets as well. We do want to have this Financial Summit Network be watched by the traditional guys, and we don't want to, turn our backs to them. I still think we have a lot to learn from traditional market professionals.
Well put, mate. Hey, just go over to your charts and let's see what your score is on your float indicator.
Oh,
What
that's
was your
right.
P&L?
We gotta check the float score. So I gotta go into that 5-minute chart. I'm gonna open
You don't
up
any chart doesn't matter. Just turn it on. So you got
okay. Is this let me when are we gonna call it? Let's let's end the show in 3 minutes. So in exactly 3 minutes, we will see. I think I'm still on screen share. So what am I looking at here? ROI, we're looking at ROI, or we're looking at
well, we can do the P&Ls.
P&L. Unrealized
P&L on the top.
I'm just under 400.
Actually, I think we should do ROI. ROI. You reckon?
This should be the same thing.
Well,
P&L is probably easier. What's your unrealized P&L?
I'll have to bring it up. You just chat amongst yourself for a second while I load this next monitor.
Yeah, so the unrealized P&L right now for me is 398. It's hovering between 398 and 399.
ちょっと待ってねください.
And the ROI is 0.00876.
Okay, we'll just do the say that again. What's your P&L?
396, 397.
I'm 3.84, 3.81.
What do you mean 3.81?
3%, 0.49.
Well,
So
my unrealized P&L is a dollar value, right? That's why it's 300.
Oh, okay. Really? What?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So not your P&L, your unrealized P&L is.
Yeah, unrealized P&L is 389.
You win.
but you had the same parameters, right? 1,000, 44 to 61 and 15. You had 10x, I have 15x.
Yeah, you won.
But your P&L should still be in the hundreds of dollars, though. Oh, I'm sorry. You're looking at P&L percent. I see. Minus 38 right now. 38.18. But that's kind of like the. But you can see it on the screen what I have. So you can see on the.
Yeah.
If you look at my screen share, you see what I have.
Yeah. I just checking. One second. We'll get this right, guys. We'll get this right.
Well, we both made money.
Yeah.
Here,
what was your entry price? 45,261.
You can see it on my screen. It was 44,261. It was supposed to be 45.
Yeah, no. It was supposed to be 45. Yeah.
It was supposed to be 45, not 44.
Yeah.
Oh,
261.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's 45, then it's lower, right? Then it's You can see it on my screen. Okay, so my entry price was off.
I was wondering why your lines weren't there. That's why now. Yeah. So you still won because we entered the same trade, and you entered off the line there, that blue line. But you still won because we're in exactly the same trade. So today's episode, Tone is the winner. So just end screen share there, Tone. This is very technical here.
All right.
So here we go. So this is the magic board. All right. So this is the magic board. It's got Matt on top, Tone here on the left and right. It's the first one to get to 10, and the first episode is Tone. Tone's a Stegosaurus. You win, mate. It's yours. Good win.
Thanks, man. Shouldn't you have like a koala on one side and like a kangaroo on the other instead of dinosaurs?
We'll find a better way to do that. But that's great show, mate. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, it's like 3 a.m. for Mr. Alpha Numerics over in Australia. We'll try to bring you the show earlier in the day so he can get some sleep next time. And you can check out Alpha Numerics indicator in the description. You can also check out the MRI indicator in the description. And hopefully we have additional different shows with other traders on this channel. We have amazing ideas for you to bring to this channel. And Matt, I'll see you. We'll see. We might do it tomorrow, or maybe when you wake up later tonight again, depending on what Gary Gensler says this time, if it's the real Gary Gensler.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Tone. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys. All right, stream's done.
I thought